Change your life. Don't accept continuing to fit into spaces that make you feel small. Within you exists a capacity for action, a willpower that doesn't awaken through motivation alone, but through purpose. No matter where you are, what you've achieved, or how many times you've tried and failed, the Stoics taught that the mind can be trained. You can develop yourself, rebuild yourself, and renew yourself as many times as necessary. That's exactly what you'll learn in this video. These are simple, direct, practical techniques that will return you to the field of action, where you stop feeling paralyzed and begin truly leading your own life. Epictetus said, "Moral evolution belongs to everyone. It's not a privilege of a few, nor a result of luck, but the natural consequence of those willing to grow." Each of these techniques works independently, but together they build a new mentality, firm, lucid, and unshakable. So I invite you to stay until the end and carry this wisdom into your daily life. This could change not just your next week, but your month, perhaps even your entire life. Before we begin, I only ask two things. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. This helps ensure this message reaches more people who are ready for transformation. Now let's begin. Action 1. Learn to care for yourself more. No true change happens if you live exhausted, constantly trying to hold up the world while forgetting to support yourself. Caring for yourself isn't selfishness, it's responsibility. Because you cannot give what you don't have, and no one flourishes on abandoned ground. Think of yourself as a garden. If you don't pull out weeds, don't water it, don't nurture it, the flowers won't die immediately. They'll simply stop growing. What was meant to bloom will merely survive. That's what happens when you forget to nourish yourself from within. The Stoics taught that a person's greatest duty is to themselves, to care for their mind, protect their soul, and cultivate virtue. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The mind needs daily care, just as the body needs food." But most people live like someone trying to run with an empty tank, expecting the world to understand their exhaustion while ignoring it themselves. Self-care is an act of courage. It's choosing to pause, even when everything pushes you forward. It's looking inward and saying, "I need me too." It's realizing you're always ready to help others, but when it comes to yourself, you delay, avoid, silence your needs. It's when your body screams for rest and you force it to keep going, when your heart asks for stillness and you demand strength. Here lies the truth. Caring for yourself also means saying no. It means closing the door for a few hours, choosing silence over the noise of urgency, because a mind without pause becomes confused. A body without rest grows heavy. A heart without quiet turns loud and chaotic. Dedicating time to yourself is an act of reconstruction. It's drinking coffee in peace, walking without rush, speaking to yourself without judgment. It's the moment you reconnect with yourself, when you clean old wounds, redefine experiences trapped in the past, and open space for what longs to bloom again. Often, pain no longer hurts, but it still takes up room. Caring for yourself is making space for the new. It's understanding that no one can heal you if you keep repeating what harms you, and the beauty of life only reveals itself when you treat yourself with the same respect you expect from others. So write in the comments, "Today I choose to care for myself," because the world changes when you change how you treat yourself, and everything well-tended eventually blooms. Action 2. Grow in every sense of life. You weren't born to grow halfway. You aren't just the professional who works, or only the role you play at home. You are a living sum of body, mind, and spirit. And when one part is neglected, everything else begins to weaken. There are people who achieve their dreams, yet feel hollow inside. People who collect external victories, but live a silent war within. Those who pour love and care into others, but never into their own soul. This is the most common mistake among those who seek growth. believing that evolution is only about reaching goals, not becoming whole. But real progress isn't speed, it's balance. It isn't about having more, it's about being more. The Stoics called this inner harmony, the state where every part of you cooperates and life flows silently, without internal conflict. Marcus Aurelius said, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee." He meant that the health of the individual depends on the health of the whole. To grow in every sense is to align your strengths, to care for your body so you have energy, your mind so you have direction, and your spirit so you have purpose. Understand, there is no contradiction between ambition and peace. You can pursue success with soul and maintain calm with discipline. Harmony begins in small choices, sleeping peacefully after a productive day, making space to breathe between achievements, being grateful not just for progress, but for pauses. You can prosper, grow, and conquer, but never at the cost of losing yourself. The world is full of people who reached far, but lost touch with who they were. True growth is walking the path of success without stopping feeling, loving, or living. Life demands unity, alignment between what you do, what you think, and what you feel. The emptiness many feel doesn't come from lack of results. It comes from lack of coherence between the outer and inner self. You don't have to choose between success and peace, reason and emotion, progress and rest. You only need to learn to walk complete, integrated. When what you build outside reflects what you cultivate inside, everything becomes lighter, more authentic, more real. Growing in every sense means becoming someone who inspires through balance, who wins without hardening, who advances without losing themselves, who conquers without ceasing to feel. It's understanding that prosperity isn't about chasing more. It's about becoming better in all you do. So write in the comments, "I choose to grow completely," because true evolution isn't partial, it's total. And when all your parts move together, progress stops being effort and becomes fulfillment. Action 3. Master the art of moving forward from where you are. There are moments when the past feels like a weight tied to your feet. You want to go forward, but something pulls you back. An old mistake, a loss, a choice that now seems wrong. Without realizing it, you start living like someone replaying the same day over and over, attempting to rewrite what has already happened. But regret, when fed too much, stops being learning and becomes prison. It makes you believe that what's gone still controls what's coming, and what should be reflection turns into chains. The Stoics called this wisdom of the present moment, the ability to separate time, to understand that what already occurred belongs to memory, not to this hour. Wisdom isn't erasing the past, it's refusing to live in it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't live as if you had 1,000 years ahead. Life slips away, and the present is all you have." He knew the past wasn't a place to stay. It was a teacher who instructs and leaves. You can thank it, but you don't need to camp among its ruins. Regret makes you look backward in pain. Wisdom makes you look forward with clarity. And the difference lies in one decision, moving forward from where you stand, not from where you wish you were. Look around. How many times have you prevented yourself from beginning again because you kept punishing yourself for what you did or didn't do? How many opportunities passed because you were too busy reliving what couldn't be changed? It's like trying to open a door that time has already closed. The past can explain who you were, but it never determines who you can become. You don't need to deny your feelings. Feeling is human, but you must avoid turning pain into a residence. Trauma and mistakes aren't destiny, they're chapters, and each new dawn is an invitation to write the next page with greater awareness. Honoring the past doesn't mean repeating it, it means transcending it. It means letting what was strengthen you, not define you. Because every time you choose to live in the present, the past loses its power to wound you. There is no greater liberation than accepting what was, was. The true power lies in looking forward, without fear of starting anew. Breathe deeply and say to yourself, I move forward from where I am, not from where I was hurt. Because time doesn't return, but life begins again every time you choose presence. And the future only starts in the one place where it truly exists: now. Action 4. Silence, catastrophic thinking. We all know that feeling. Something happens, a mistake, a message, a glance, and suddenly your mind races. In seconds, a small thought becomes a storm. Your heart accelerates, your body tenses, and you're no longer in the present. You're trapped in an imaginary future, built from old fears and unresolved stories. This is catastrophic thinking, an invisible movie the brain projects to protect you, but ends up paralyzing you. It takes a single memory, mixes it with doubt, adds fear of failure, and creates a fiction so convincing you believe it's real. Your brain does this to conserve energy. It runs on autopilot. It builds mental shortcuts, repeated pathways. The more you travel them, the stronger they become, until thought becomes habit. Habit becomes belief. Belief becomes a lens, and you start seeing everything through it. But this lens is neutral. It doesn't distinguish good from bad, fear from courage, doubt from faith. You decide what it reflects. And here enters the power of Stoic self-mastery, the ability to observe your mind without becoming it. Epictetus said, "The only thing under your control is your mind, and that gives you enough power." Silencing catastrophic thinking isn't about denying reality, it's about seeing it with proportion. It's recognizing that fear exists, but doesn't need to lead. Anxiety speaks, but doesn't get to command. The control you seek was never in the world. It's always been within you. So next time a problem arises, before reacting, breathe. Ask yourself, is what I'm experiencing real, or is my fear speaking for me? That pause is where chaos dissolves and reason regains command. Catastrophic thinking is like a thunderstorm, intense, noisy, temporary. And when you learn to wait in silence, you realize the thunder wasn't danger. It was only the echo of your own thoughts. The phrase you must repeat when that feeling returns is, "Today I choose calm over chaos," because true mental strength isn't controlling the world, it's refusing to let the world control what happens inside you. Action 5. Practice self-control. Nothing grows where the mind is unstable. Every lasting change begins when you learn to govern yourself, when you stop being a slave to impulses and become the strategist of your actions. Self-control is what separates dreamers from those who actually achieve. Wanting to change is easy. Staying firm when enthusiasm fades, when no one applauds, when the world seems indifferent, that's difficult. And it's in that quiet journey that self-control proves its worth. The Stoics called this rational strength, the ability to act guided by consciousness, not momentary emotion. Epictetus said, "No man is free unless he masters himself." And mastering yourself is the first step toward conquering anything else. Self-control is the foundation of consistency. Without it, you build castles of excitement, which collapse at the first headwind. Without self-control, you react. You break promises. You surrender at the first difficulty. But self-control isn't repression, it's redirection. Think of an archer. He doesn't shoot impulsively. He waits for the perfect moment. He adjusts his posture, calms his breath, and releases with precision. It's not his strength that hits the target, it's his serenity. The same applies to you. Self-control transforms motion into direction, effort into results. It's not about silencing emotions. It's about listening to them without surrendering. It's recognizing anger and transforming it into constructive action, fear into prudence, anxiety into focus. Whoever commands their emotions doesn't extinguish them, they place them in order. Because emotion is like fire. When controlled, it illuminates. When uncontrolled, it consumes. Every time you choose to act with awareness, you build a new identity, one of someone in charge. And the more you repeat this choice, the more your mind learns to trust you. When your mind trusts you, your body obeys, your focus holds, and progress becomes inevitable. Self-control isn't rigidity, it's maturity. It's understanding that impulse satisfies the moment, but discipline builds the future. And every time you choose the future, life rewards you with something the present never could: clarity. So next time you feel like giving up, reacting without thought, returning to an old pattern, pause and breathe. Remember all the times you stayed strong by not acting on impulse, all the times silence saved you, all the times patience placed you exactly where you needed to be. Success doesn't come to those who do the most. It comes to those who stay on course the longest. The world belongs to those who know how to wait, observe, and act at the right moment. Write in the comments, "I am not dominated by my impulses," because self-control isn't about suppression, it's about construction, and whoever masters themselves holds the power to transform every aspect of their life. Action 6. Change begins from within. The only person who can change your life is you. Think of all the people who love you, believe in you, and want to see you thrive. They can advise you, support you, inspire you, but none can walk with your legs. None can take that step for you. They can believe in you, but they can't convince you if you doubt yourself. And this is where most people stumble. They live waiting for something external to fix what can only be transformed from within, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect job, the perfect partner, the perfect motivation. But what truly transforms you isn't the environment, it's your internal state as you move through it. All deep change begins in the invisible, in what you think, say, and feel when no one is watching. Real change is born in how you speak to yourself, because that inner voice is what lifts you up or tears you down. It's what propels you or sabotages you. Think of how many times you stopped before trying because your mind whispered, "What if it goes wrong?" How many times did you cancel a dream before it began, just because you believed the pessimistic version of your inner voice? And the irony is, it wasn't failure that stopped you. It was the fear of failure, created by your own thoughts. You can have the best plan, the wisest advice, the purest intentions, but if your mind doesn't cooperate, everything collapses. That's why so many intelligent, talented, good-hearted people remain stuck, because they never learned to master their inner dialogue. That voice is powerful. It can be the echo of fear, telling you you're not enough. Or it can be the flame of courage, reminding you you've overcome worse. What decides who you become is which voice you choose to feed each day. The Stoics called this the rational center of the soul, the part of us that thinks, chooses, and guides the rest. They believed freedom begins when you learn to lead your own thoughts. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul takes on the color of its thoughts." And that's exactly what happens. You become the tone of the words you repeat to yourself daily. Whoever repeats, "I can't," weakens themselves. Whoever says, "I'm still learning," expands. Because every sentence you speak to yourself is a brick. It either builds your strength or walls you in. So watch what you tell yourself. When something goes wrong, don't say, "I knew I'd fail." Say, "Now I know how to do it better." When you feel fear, don't say, "I'm not capable." Say, "I'm still learning." When you're tired, don't say, "I'm drained. I have nothing left." Say, "I need to care for myself, to keep going." That simple shift is what separates those who give up from those who mature. Because it's not the world that strengthens you, it's the conversation you have with it. And that conversation begins within, in how you interpret your days. When you change the tone of your inner voice, what was doubt becomes momentum, and what seemed impossible becomes a natural step. Inner strength begins the moment you decide to treat yourself like someone worthy of growth, learning, and victory. And the most beautiful discovery is this: When that strength wakes up, life responds. No one can live your life for you, but when you choose to be your own ally, the impossible begins to move, and what once felt distant becomes simply the next step of someone who finally understood. The change you seek outside begins within you. Action 7. Face your fears. Insecurity always begins in the mind. Before it ever shows up in your actions, it lives in a story your thoughts repeat until you believe it as truth. And your body believes it too, racing your heart, holding your breath, freezing your movement. It's like being dragged by a wave that appears to come from outside, but was born within you. Facing fear is one of the bravest acts there is, because it forces you to look back to the very moment something broke inside you. And strangely, when you revisit that memory, the pain doesn't feel smaller. Sometimes it feels even sharper, and that's precisely why we avoid it. But the price of avoidance is high. Whoever avoids fear ends up being led by it. Every time you act from insecurity, the past is making decisions for you. If you were rejected once, your fear of rejection starts writing your life's script. If you failed in business, you begin to believe you weren't made to take risks. If you were betrayed, you start doubting even the kindest intentions. But fear is not reality. It's a memory disguised as protection. It doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to test whether you still believe in who you were, or if you're ready to become someone new. The Stoics called this reason's mastery over passion, the ability to recognize fear, but not kneel before it. Seneca said, "The man who feels fear before it's necessary suffers more than is necessary." And that's exactly what fear does. It multiplies imagined suffering and makes you live defeats that never occurred. Fear will always exist, but when you face it, it loses the power to decide for you. Because courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to move forward despite it. So when fear rises, don't fight it. Observe it with curiosity. Ask, what am I really afraid of losing? And almost always, the answer is an older version of yourself. And that version, the one defined by past failures, is the one that must stay behind. Facing your fears is releasing your strength, because beyond every conquered fear, there's a life that's been waiting for you. Decide to live it today. Choose to act, even with fear, because fear is a natural feeling, but living imprisoned by it is a choice. And whoever has the courage to walk through their fear begins to live on the other side, where freedom resides. Action 8. Be aware that you will die. This is a paradox within our minds. We all know we will die, but few live with that awareness awake. Death is humanity's oldest certainty, and yet the most forgotten truth. We live as if we have infinite time, postponing conversations, dreams, forgiveness, new beginnings. But time doesn't warn you when it runs out. It simply passes, and whoever doesn't remember ends up living half a life. The Stoics called this reminder memento mori, remember you will die. These words were carved into temples, rings, statues, not as a threat, but as an invitation to clarity, a wake-up call not to waste life on distractions, vanities, or petty fears. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, what you say, and what you think." He knew that remembering death, paradoxically, is the most intense way to live, because when you realize time is finite, the present gains depth. Every gesture, every word, every breath acquires weight and intention. The awareness of death doesn't bring despair. It brings clarity. It teaches you to choose what matters, to release what doesn't, and to value what's already within reach. Ask yourself, if today were your last day, what would you stop postponing? Who would you forgive? What would you dare to begin? These answers reveal what truly matters, and that's where real life begins. The Stoics didn't fear death. They learned to reconcile with it. They understood that life isn't measured in years. It's measured in presence. And dying one day is inevitable. But dying without having lived? That is a choice. So remember, you will die. But until then, you have the power to live like someone who understands the value of now. Action 9. Understand that nothing is permanent. Everything you love, your health, your possessions, the people you cherish, is on loan. The Stoics saw life not as ownership, but as stewardship. Nothing is yours forever. Everything is entrusted to you for a season. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "You could lose this tomorrow." He didn't say it to frighten himself. He said it to live with reverence. Because when you understand that nothing lasts, you stop clinging. You appreciate more. You listen deeper. You love harder. You stop treating relationships as permanent fixtures and start seeing them as gifts, to be cherished, not taken for granted. Seneca said, "Enjoy the present as if it were the last." Not out of desperation, but out of gratitude, because the more you realize things are temporary, the more you value them. Think of a loved one. Would you treat them differently if you knew they might not be here next year? The same applies to your body, your time, your passions. When you stop assuming permanence, you start living with urgency. You stop delaying what matters, because you know tomorrow isn't guaranteed. So use what you have, now. Love fully. Speak honestly. Act with courage. Don't save your best self for later, because later may never come. And when you live with that awareness, every moment becomes sacred. Action 10. Stop trying to control everything. How tired do you feel, carrying the weight of the entire world in your hands? It's like pulling a rope with all your strength, but the rope leads nowhere. At first you feel in control, but soon your arms ache, tension builds, and you end up imprisoned by your own force. That's the illusion of control, believing that if you plan enough, worry enough, monitor enough, nothing bad will happen. But life doesn't follow your calculations. It follows its own course. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It's foolish to demand that events happen as you desire." Instead, he advised, "Accept events as they unfold, and life will flow in peace." And that's the key. Peace doesn't come from tight grip. It comes from the wisdom of letting go. When you stop struggling against what you can't change, you discover something liberating. There's a space between what happens and how you respond. And that space, that's the only territory that truly belongs to you. There, your freedom lives. The Stoic practice is this. Watch where your rope is too tight and loosen one knot at a time. Maybe at work, where you recheck every detail, rewrite what's already done, micromanage a team that knows how to perform. Eventually, progress stalls, replaced by anxiety and delay. Let go here. Trust the process. Define the desired outcome, set clear boundaries, and allow others to do their part. Or when a new tool arrives, and instead of adapting, you waste energy resenting the old version. That resistance is useless. Let go. Accept change, and learn to use the new to your advantage. You can't control the past, but you can control your willingness to learn now, or in relationships, where you try to manage the other's mood, rehearse responses, anticipate reactions, and only drain your energy. Let go. Speak clearly once, set boundaries, and continue with your life, even if they don't change. You can't control another's temperament, but you can control your clarity and presence. And there are also invisible ropes, repetitive thoughts, endless what-ifs. What if I fail? What if they laugh at me? What if I lose everything? These mental scripts are like loops, draining your energy without getting you anywhere. The solution is simple and powerful. First, name the script. Call it the what-if story. Naming it creates emotional distance. Then, make a division. What is under my control and what is not? Release what isn't yours. Turn what is into a small, immediate action, however tiny. And before acting, breathe deeply. Break the cycle of anxiety. Bring your attention back to the present. This is Stoic mental hygiene. Clean the unnecessary weight, and invest your energy only in what's truly in your hands. Remember, you don't need to hold up the world. You just need to learn to let go. And when you do, it's like relaxing your arms after a useless struggle, finally breathing in peace. Action 11. Make your environment work for you. Many people believe their problems are external, the environment, other people, circumstances. But the root of struggle is often internal, your mindset and attitude. Consider this. Someone decides to move houses, believing the new location will bring peace, order, happiness. But after the move, chaos remains. Why? Because along with their belongings, they brought the same habits, the scattered mind, the lack of structure. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing external change will solve everything. But Seneca warned, the error isn't in the circumstances, it's in the mind itself. A sick person doesn't get healthy by changing cities. The illness travels with them. If you want real change, don't escape your environment. Transform your inner world. Otherwise, you're just changing scenery without rewriting the script. Running away may seem like a temporary solution, but it doesn't resolve internal conflicts. It only delays the inevitable confrontation with yourself. Seneca delivered another powerful line. If you want to escape your problems, you don't need to go somewhere else. You need to become someone else. This doesn't mean abandoning your essence. It means evolving your mindset. It's an invitation to have the courage to look inward, to confront what needs to change. Admitting the problem may lie within you is uncomfortable, but freeing, because if we are part of the problem, we can also be part of the solution. Stoicism teaches that real strength lies in taking responsibility for your life. It demands conscious action, reviewing habits, challenging limiting beliefs, developing resilience. Growth comes from small, consistent steps, not grand escapes. Avoiding reality through distractions, social media, overwork, entertainment, only postpones the truth. Seneca believed peace and happiness aren't found in places or situations, but in the courage to face your fears and evolve. Hiding may feel easier at first, but the real journey begins when you decide to rebuild from within. So instead of searching for new roads to avoid your pain, focus on building a resilient, committed mindset. Because as Stoicism teaches, change isn't in the world around you, it's in how you choose to meet it. And the key to a fuller life always lies within you. Action 12. Act now before you talk about it. Epictetus asked, "How much longer will you wait to demand the best from yourself?" Marcus Aurelius reflected on this in Meditations. He wrote, "We know what is good for us, yet we choose to delay it. We tell ourselves, I'll do it later. I'll do it when things calm down, when everything returns to normal, when my mind is calmer, when the weather improves." This is the great lie we tell ourselves to justify procrastination. Delay is a habit, and Seneca said fools share it. They spend their lives preparing, but never beginning. But mentally strong people don't wait for the perfect moment. The Stoic acts, gathers strength, willpower, and discipline, and does what must be done immediately. Not tomorrow, not when the stars align, now. Because the best time to start was yesterday or years ago, but the second best time is now. Think practically. Take YouTube creators, for example. Thousands of people now teach skills online: knitting, cooking, fixing appliances, gardening. Are they smarter, more talented? Not necessarily, but they started years ago. And because they acted first, they now speak from experience. As the proverb says, the early bird drinks the cleanest water. If you want success tomorrow, next month, or next year, you must plant the seeds today. All future results depend on decisions made now. So ask yourself, what are you delaying that could change your life? Don't say, "I'll do it later." Do it now. Seneca warned, "Fools are always preparing, never beginning." So what if, instead of saying, "I'll do it later," you simply began today? Wouldn't it be better to stop waiting and take the first step? Your desired future depends on the choices you make today. Tomorrow will only harvest the consequences of your current inaction. So write in the comments, "I choose to act now," because the only time that exists is this one. Action 13. Choose one word to live by. Seneca said, "No wind is favorable to the ship that doesn't know where it wants to go." This idea highlights a fundamental truth: direction matters. Without a clear destination, every effort feels scattered, and you drift aimlessly. Starting today, adopt a simple but transformative practice. Choose one word that represents your purpose for the coming period. Just like yogis set an intention before each session, or meditators use a mantra to center themselves, the Stoics used virtues as guiding principles. Marcus Aurelius sought to be honest, humble, direct, and cooperative. Zeno wanted to live in harmony with nature. Epictetus valued self-mastery. These weren't random traits, they were chosen anchors. Your word functions the same way. It's a star to navigate by when storms arise, a compass when fog rolls in, a quiet reminder when you forget your purpose. Why choose one word? Because picking one word is choosing a direction. It's deciding, this year, I live with courage. This phase, I prioritize integrity. This season, I practice presence. When you select a word, you give your mind a single reference point. Instead of chasing 10 goals at once, you focus on one. Each decision, big or small, filters through that word. Does this align with my word? Will this move me closer or further? This practice brings clarity, reduces overwhelm, and creates coherence. It transforms scattered efforts into unified movement. So I invite you, choose your word for the months ahead. Write it down. Put it where you'll see it every day. Let it guide you, not by force, but through gentle, persistent alignment. Because revolution doesn't require a dramatic gesture. It only requires one decision, repeated daily.